Hi everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. This is the 2024 Cadillac XT4. And in today's video, minus that little voice crack I just had that made me sound like a teenager, we're going to give you the information to help answer the question, did Cadillac make the right changes? There are some changes to the exterior, including the front end. Minor changes on the rear, but major changes to the front. Well, maybe not major, but you'll definitely see the differences because I'm going to line this one up next to a 2023 and then you'll see what the differences are. But the biggest and best change, in my personal opinion, is going to be found in the interior. The new 33-inch screen. It is one solid screen, and yes, it does come directly from the Cadillac Lyriq. So you have a very modern looking interior. We'll talk about what else you'll find here throughout the course of the video in case this is something you want to buy. And if you're curious about maybe buying this exact model, check out the link down in the description of the video to the Cadillac website. You can go to their website and learn more about this model or maybe something else you may wish to consider purchasing. If you do come to the dealership, make sure to tell whoever you work with that Tom from Vehicle Visionary sent you their way. Okay, now that I'm parked next to the 2023 that is on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm hoping you can see the differences between the two front ends. You can see that the grille has some changes as far as its overall design goes, but the biggest changes will be found in the design of the headlights. You can see what we have right here, kind of a faux vent of sorts. This is not actually an active vent right here. And while we still have the cascading look right here, we have that over here as well, but you can see that the design has completely changed. No vent right here anymore. We have the main headlights down in that area. And overall, you can also see that the design of the hood line has changed. This one a little more squared off right here, a little bit more in the way of some character lines, we'll say. With the lines right here working their way up, gonna have a little bit of a drop, and then this center area that really sets things off nicely. Now that is somewhat similar to what we have on the 2023 over there, but overall, some very nice changes here on the front end. And the design of the side view mirrors also changing. You can see that the mirror is actually sitting up a little bit higher, at least it looks like it is from this point. I haven't measured, but I'm pretty sure it is on the 2024 that is on the right-hand side of the screen. And you can also see that the mirror is not quite as wide. Now you will notice your turn signal indicator built in here. It may look like there isn't one on the 24 model that I have today. It's changed position. It's right down here. We'll give you a look from back here from behind. You'll notice that you can see the differences in shape and size here a little bit better compared to what we could from the front. And the changes on the rear, a little more subtle. You might have to look a little bit. So what you're going to notice is the change with the light here. It's now in a vertical design. And one other, well, really significant change is you won't see the exhaust outlets on the rear, giving it a little bit cleaner look back here, just in case you were curious to know what the changes might be out back. Okay, so let's take a little bit closer look at everything that we have here. We'll just take a look at this one by itself, but just to show you the lighting here, as you would expect, you're going to have the IntelliBeam, auto high beams, all that good stuff is going to be here. You can see that cascading look with the daytime running lights running from way up here all the way down. It looks really nice. There's those nice bright turn signal indicators or blinkers. Some of you might not even know what those are, at least driving around here in Shreveport, Louisiana, because you don't use them. At least that's what I would think is the case. Okay, it's all right. It's okay to laugh, no worries. But a very sporty look overall. And you might wonder about the remote for 2024. Well, here's what it looks like. You will have remote start, very easy to use. Now, like I told you earlier, you do have these redesigned side view mirrors. There is the turn signal indicator built in that I know a lot of you like to know about. Also, you're going to have your blind spot monitoring here, and you're going to have passive entry. This button right here. When you have the remote on your person, You can push that button to unlock all 4 doors, but for you parents out there, here's something that's very convenient. You're likely going to come to the back doors first. You also have passive entry here on the rear, so you can unlock all 4 doors from this area. And a quick look at what the tail lights look like in action. We're going to leave that little faux pas in there because I'm just going to get this thing done. It's getting a little warm outside. There's your 350T logo, obviously the Cadillac logo, and the XT4. And one thing I neglected to mention down here, here is your backup light. Unfortunately, without anybody out here to help me film, it's hard to show that. I guess I could put it on the camera on the tripod and show you what that looks like. But overall, that is the exterior of this XT4. If you're wondering where your gas door is, it's right here. You do have capless fuel fill, so if you're curious about that. And when it comes to getting down the road, speaking of filling that gas tank, what exactly is that gas going to be running through? Let's open the hood and we'll talk about the details. And in case you were curious to know if your time is so valuable to me that I was going to go ahead and show you the backup light, yep, there you go. That way you know what it looks like. Under the hood is the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 235 horsepower and 258 pounds-feet of torque. And before you get nervous, because a lot of the time when you see these smaller engines, you also have it mated to a CVT. Not here. It's a 9-speed automatic transmission. No worries where that is concerned. And how about those all-important MPGs? We're looking at 24 city, 29 highway, 26 combined. 3.8 gallons of gas per 100 miles driven. At least that's what you might be able to get depending on how you drive. And speaking of that, I showed you the gas tank location earlier so you know which side of the vehicle to fill up on. It is a 15.9 gallon gas tank. And don't worry, I'm going to tell you what the tire and wheel size is. The width is 235, nice amount of tread on the ground. We're going to have a 60 series sidewall wrapped around the 18-inch wheels. And we'll open the power lift gate. And what's that going to reveal? 22.5 up to 48.9 cubic feet of cargo capacity. You're going to have a little bit of space on the sides here, just depending on what you might put in here. Well, that could come in handy. Obviously, the cargo lighting, it's going to be on both sides. But one thing you won't find on both sides that's only over here on the right-hand side is the 12-volt power outlet. That could be very useful. And to maximize cargo space, you're going to come to each seat. You're just going to pull on that release. And obviously, you can do that on both sides. I'll give you a good view at how that is pretty much completely flat. So you don't have any kind of an angle to deal with. That helps to maximize cargo capacity even more than it would otherwise. Some vehicles have just a little bit of an incline. Some have more than that. But here on the Cadillac XT4, that is not an issue. So you really get to take full advantage of your cargo capacity. For those who like to see how everything looks maximized, there you go. Now, there is one more thing I want to cover. If you ever come back here and try to open your power lift gate, whether you're using the button on the lift gate itself, the button on the remote, or there's also a button in the interior, and that's really the focus of what I want to tell you about. If it doesn't open for some reason, here is where you need to come. It's located in this area, and you'll notice that you have 3 different settings. You have max, you have 3/4, and you also have off. So if it doesn't open, most likely that's set to off. You can also push this button to open it. It's just a little bit of information that might be helpful to current and future owners. And within the interior, obviously, high-end materials everywhere you look. A nice comfortable armrest. I'll put my arm up there to prove that. You'll have to try it for yourself sometime to make sure, but I promise you it's nice and comfortable. And here's your door bin. A nice large bottle can go here, maybe some snacks, whatever the case is with that. And before we hop inside, there is the panoramic sunroof, something that I know a lot of you want in your vehicles. You're going to have the dual seat pockets, one on each side here, for additional storage options. The fold down armrest with the cup holders built in, and then we'll obviously take a look at the overall design of the seats themselves. And I like the fact that you do have air conditioning vents here in the rear. couple of USB options, and something that we don't need today because it's rather warm, even though it's better than it was, maybe 90 degrees or so. That's kind of sad when you're excited that it's cooled down to 90 degrees from 100 plus. But you have your heated seats. And by the way, those are the outboard seats. So whoever's stuck here in the center seat during the cold times of the year, guess what? They're just going to have to deal with the cold butt. And if you have that person in your life who wants the largest armrest and door bin, well, they better call Shotgun, or maybe they should reach for the remote before you do and drive. But one way or another, the front doors have the larger armrests and the larger door bin. And you can see some of the contrast stitching. We haven't talked about that yet. And high-end materials, obviously, custom made, very nice. And there are a lot of different options. Different materials. You don't have to go with this material right here, not glow, but go. It's okay to laugh, yes, sometimes I get a little tongue twisted. But you can see you have the gloss black or piano black finish here, but that's not the only thing that's available. There's a lot of customization available for this model. And the larger door bin there, as you can see, you're going to have obviously the Cadillac logo here. I don't want to remove anything, but it is there on the door sill. And power seats for the driver and the passenger. That should not be a big surprise. And if you're curious about the panoramic sunroof, yes, there is a power shade. And taking a look across the dash, I have to say I really like what Cadillac has done here. With the changes, it looks modern, it looks high-tech. You really can't beat that. I like it. Everything, even the air conditioning vents, the way that the design of everything here looks, I think they've done a really good job. You have the nice, comfortable glove box here with this material. There's no gloves in here, but it's still called a glove box. But you know what? If that material was on the inside of your gloves, well, you might want to wear them more often, just not here in Northwest Louisiana because it's too hot most of the year. And one thing that I also like, making use of some potential storage right here on the center console. That is useful. You'll also find, well, you have a lid right here first. You want to conceal all of this away and just make it have a cleaner look, or you can reveal the 12-volt power outlet that's right there, a couple of USB options and some more storage, and the cup holders here as well. You can turn on and off traction control. Driving modes are here, pushing that button, and then the auto stop start feature that you can turn off. I do recommend you do that. That's better for your vehicle over the course of time. You'll never save enough gas to justify the potential repair costs if you use that feature regularly. So I recommend you turn it off, but obviously you do what you want. There's your shifter, a very nice look as far as the overall design goes. And here's something interesting. We're going to take a closer look at this 33-inch screen here in just a bit. But if you don't want to use the touch feature, there's a couple of options for that. Number one, you have Google built in, so you can say, hey, you know who, and ask all these questions and everything. I don't want to demonstrate that, even though nothing's on right now. But if I said, hey, well, you know, I might set off some devices in your house, and I don't want to do that. So here's the thing that I like. Here's the control for the radio. You know what else is here. You can kind of see based on what is there. But the thing is, if you are like Monk and you don't want fingerprints on your screen and you don't want to use Google Assistant, well, you can use everything right here to navigate your way around on the screen. And with the center console, that lid that doubles as an armrest, it's pretty high. That's in the right place, but obviously the seats can be adjusted in their position to compensate for that depending on your personal height, how tall you are, or the lack thereof. And you can make sure you can still use that comfortably. You do have the removable tray right here that you can leave out if you want to, or leave in. Plenty of space in there, at least for this class of SUV. And another 12-volt power outlet. Quite a few features here, or options I should say, as far as connectivity goes. And take a look at this. The new 33-inch screen, at least new to the XT4, you can see the animations going on there. So we're going to reach over here and hit our push button start. And I did want to show you some of the features here. You can obviously control all four windows here. You can obviously control those power adjustable side view mirrors. And by the way, I didn't say this earlier, but yes, those are heated power side view mirrors. So here's what we have, a few different options here. Let's talk about this first. So you're going to have your blinker lever here. I know a lot of you are saying, what in the world is a blinker or a turn signal lever? But there it is. You can also control the headlights and the tail lights here from this area. Very easy to use, very conveniently located. And you'll see down here, if you're looking for the power parking brake, there it is right there. And obviously your speedometer and everything that's here on the instrument cluster. A very nice look. You can go through a lot of different information depending on what you want to know about or what you want to change and set. There's a lot going on here. This is a very easy system to learn. Don't let it fool you. Don't say to yourself, wow, I won't ever use that stuff. There's too much there. I can't learn it. Well, that isn't actually true. You can learn it. You can go through a lot of different information here. You can see what we have here as far as the radio goes and media. Pretty simple to figure out one way or another. I like the fact that you do have all of your controls here. You really don't even have to take your hands off the steering wheel to change anything. Steering wheel mounted paddle shifters right here for navigating your way back and forth through that 9-speed automatic transmission that we talked about earlier. And I don't know how well you can see it on the screen, but the screen does have a curvature to it. I mentioned that earlier in the video, especially in this area. That's helpful because it's pointed at the driver. It's driver focused. It is a touch screen. And like I said, if you want to use the dial right here, I'm just going to work my way around. I can go from one section to the next. You do have wireless connectivity here, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. All of that good stuff is here. As far as how that works, there's Apple CarPlay, there is Android Auto, and Google Assistant. So all you have to do, again, you're just going to say, hey, that name right there. I don't want to set off devices in your house, but even though this may look really complicated, it's actually a very simplistic system to use. And when we go right here, I'm going to use the touchscreen feature because, number one, we have the protective whatever plastic on there, I guess you could call that. But let's see what all we have here. We'll just go through some of the features and some of the functionality that you can use here. There's a lot going on, but it may seem like a lot, but just because there is a lot here doesn't mean it's complicated. In fact, we can go in here to vehicle, we can go to audio settings, you have teen driver mode, rear seat reminder, buckle to drive. You know, depending on where you are, buckle to drive, if you're driving around in a parking lot or wherever you might be where you really don't need your seatbelt on, I do encourage you to wear your seatbelt when you're driving out on the road, but you may want that on or off. And I'll tell you what, this has to be the largest space I've ever seen in front of a touchscreen where you can basically rest your hand and make it easier to, well, navigate your way around and see what all is here. Here's your collision detection systems. Let's see what kind of safety features we have with our alert types. Automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking. You can see what all is here. Side bicyclist alert and Tom's tongue twisting. Maybe we can, I wonder if we can find a feature to turn that tongue twisting problem off. Lane change alert. Yes, I even like to laugh at myself. Park assist. It's also here. Rear cross traffic braking. I tell you what, there is a lot here that we could go through. I'm not going to take the time to go through literally everything. We're not going to worry about dealing with that right now, obviously, but you do have built-in maps, but you can pair your phone, like I say, through through Apple CarPlay or Android Auto and use whatever your favorite navigation app is on there, if you so desire. There is just so much here. Navigation, display, sounds, profiles, and account. I mean, what more could you want? This vehicle does a little bit of everything. It has a little bit of everything available. There's a lot going on, even lighting. So you can go in and make changes where that is concerned. And depending on the trim level, you may have more options and features where that is concerned. And let's go into reverse and take a look at our backup camera. Nice and clear. A very nice view. Very clear, very bright, easy to see. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed here. And one thing that I'm really happy about, if some of you who watch me regularly have watched recently, you've seen 86 degrees, at 8 in the morning. It's 1:07 in the afternoon right now, so that is good. And with your air conditioning, you do have dual zone climate control, really tri-zone, because you can also control the rear back there. That's your third zone of climate control back there. You can sync them together if you want to. Very simple to use or figure out if you've never done it before. You also have heated seats, at least heated only in this particular case. Okay, tell me what you think. Obviously, there are some changes for the 2024 model year for the Cadillac XT4. Did Cadillac make the right changes? Is it better than ever? What are your thoughts? Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I want to say a special thanks to my friends here at Cadillac for loaning me this XT4 for the day. And a special thanks to each and every one of you for being kind enough to take the time to watch and give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, please make sure to subscribe to the Vehicle Visionary YouTube channel and check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.